And a static website is not enough, though, is it? They need to be adding content. So that person that starts with a brand new website in January doesn't just leave it there and come back and measure in September.
Yeah, yeah.
There's work involved between, correct?
Yeah, that's a tricky question to answer. If you would have asked me that 3 years ago, I would have been screaming on the rooftop, yes, you need to add blog content, like add things to your website. And I feel like I have shifted that slightly since then.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, and I mean, I'm proud of myself, and also kind of like I feel that like I'm putting a dagger in my heart because I'm like breaking a belief here. But I think it's from the type of clients I've worked with personally, which is largely probably your audience here too. Um, we have to think when we create content, like what's the point? There is a insane amount of content in the online world, right? Do a Google search for anything and you're going to find millions of results. So, why are we creating the content? And then, how is it helping the person that could potentially work with you? So, an interior designer, for an example, if you're working with like a larger scale client who wants you to like do your whole house or an expensive renovation, their clients do not want to read a how-to blog post on how to decorate with color because they're not decorating, right? They're hiring the interior designer to do it for it. So then investors, if you're thinking about it, like what type of blog content are you going to create and how will the people that work with you consume it? Will they? Some of the coaches, I brought that example up before. If you're coming out of the C-suite as a coach and you're targeting other C-suite or senior leaders, they don't have the time to sit down and read a blog post anymore. So, and they're not. It's not how they want to consume content. They'll listen to podcasts, they'll watch quick videos and call it a day there. So I think what I'm trying to say, and I'll be a little more succinct here, is determine who the end user is and if there is value to them. And absolutely, the more content you create, the more opportunity to rank, the more the beauty of SEO is it's the more entry points to your business. So if you have a 5-page website with 0 content on it, those are 5 opportunities for people to find you online. But if you publish a blog post even once a month, in a year, that's 12 more opportunities. So you're up to 17 opportunities. Now, there are cheats on this. If you have a podcast, you can make show notes on your website and make them valuable enough that you're using the SEO keyword phrases in a natural way. Every time you do a podcast, let's say it's weekly, now here you have 52 pieces of content in a year's time. So add those 52 to the 5 and you're up to 57 at this point, and that just continues so long as you keep producing that content. You have a YouTube show, you could do the same thing. And again, I never want to encourage people to create content just for the fact of creating. I think if you can be consistent and if you can create things that are actually valuable, absolutely encourage you to do so. But if it's not what your audience wants and you don't have the ability or consistency to be able to create content, either one, don't do it, or if you want some type of extra SEO juice, I would say create what's called pillar content. So maybe you determine the 5, the 10, the 12 posts that you're going to have on your site. And they're very specific. They're all strategic. They're aligned with each other. And they're giving your audience, like they're answering the exact questions they have, for an example. Create them once. Let them live on your site. You don't have to keep touching them, but maybe when you do that, like, a 9-month checkup to your SEO, you look at how they're performing and then you make some decisions on, okay, this is performing well, but not well enough. Maybe I will, instead of maybe making an SEO change, maybe I'll add content to it. Maybe I'll lengthen it. Or if it's performing really poorly and you thought you did a good job, you'll have to look at, well, what did I do wrong here? Maybe the intent is wrong. Titles and meta descriptions are what shows up on Google. And if you don't clearly state what to expect from the article, people won't click on it. So all those little tiny things that go into SEO and copywriting that seem so insignificant is really what helps the end user, the reader, the future clients make a decision about if they're even going to bother clicking. And then when they are there and they've gotten to your website, what they'll do once they get there.